I woke up one day only to realize that the entirety of Paris had fallen. I opened the door to the room I was in only to find bodies everywhere. I grabbed whatever was at hand and checked outside. The guests, my ex among them, had turned into zombies. They filled the corridor. I slammed the door and watched the city through the window. Chaos was everywhere. People were being hunted down. The streets were a mess, and I even watched an entire family get torn apart in their car. I started by rifling through jackets and bags. When the corridor finally quieted, I went to the roof looking for help and found none. I decided to stay and survive. I started by cleaning blood from the rooms. Then, a shot tore a hole from the apartment below. I looked down to discover that the neighbor had self-deleted. I tore open a bigger hole and got down, covered the old man with a blanket, and understood what had happened. He'd shot his wife when she turned, then himself. I took his gun and every bullet I could find. I moved through the building, closing doors, checking locks. At the front entrance, zombies pressed their hands against the glass. I shut it on them just in time. In the caretaker's room, I found keys, a can of tuna, and a handful of supplies. I organized the keys by apartment number and methodically checked rooms. The first door I opened had a zombified family waiting. I fought them off, marked the door with an X so I wouldn't open it again, then cleared the other apartments. Most were empty. I gathered food, a paintball gun, an MP3 player, cassettes, drums, small things that meant something to me. When the elevator moved by itself, I froze. There was a zombie inside, but it wasn't attacking. I tied the gate with a belt and left it there. That night I ate tuna and listened to my old cassettes until the voices felt like company. Days blurred into a routine. I counted them on a dusty window, drew a grid, and crossed off boxes. I rationed food in a notebook and played the drums to let off steam. Used the paintball gun to mark the zombies in photographs of my ex, crossing them out one by one like a childish map. One day, a terrible smell told me the bodies were rotting. I moved them gently into sleeping bags, left their things beside them, said a small goodbye, and sealed the door so the stench wouldn't leak into the hall. The water stopped running at some point. Showers just cut off. I had a dream where the room filled with hungry things, and I woke shouting, heart pounding. I added running and jumping to my day. I even reached through the elevator gate and shook the dead man's hand. For some reason, I decided to call him Alfred out loud. Rain finally came. I stacked pots and buckets and drank warm water like a miracle. I sipped a cigar next to the elevator and told Alfred the worst part was not knowing what had happened to my family. From the window one afternoon, I saw a cat under a car. I opened the door, tuna in hand, and the animal creeped forward. Then a noise sent it running. I snuck between cars to find it. A zombie saw me, and I barely escaped being dragged into the street. I came back with a bleeding leg and cleaned the wound myself. I sat in front of the mirror with the gun in my hand, trying to imagine whether I was already changing. The weapon slipped at one point and fired. Thank God it missed me, and I laughed like a fool when I checked that I hadn't turned.